Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more incessantly about the Gundam card game. It still feels weird to call it just the card game, GCG, without any T in there, but it makes sense because as it is, trading really feels like scraping the bottom of the barrel uh, to get whatever people aren't willing to hold on to, because with how tight Bandai's being with the product still, uh, it's really hard to get a hold of anything. So people really just want to play the cards that they have pulled instead of trading them away. Although it is nice to be making equal trades most of the time for the extras that people have. It would be nice to see more product available, just be a little more foregoing trading and also just getting a hold of the stuff in general. But let's not doom about that. Let's actually talk about the deck in question for today. We are playing, in fact, Woman Turbo. We are not playing the White Woman. That deck is great. I'm sure it's fine, but I've had my fun bouncing units, I think, and I'd like to try a little bit of red-green today, and for a few weeks. We'll talk about the pilots, their link units, some of the utility, and then the extras, and then we'll talk a little bit about the strategy of this deck, and then some cards that I am playing, why I'm playing them, and then cards that I'm not playing and why I'm not playing those, besides the fact that I just don't like them. I'll preface this by saying I was playing a very similar version of this deck, as you can tell. I'm a big fan of Marida. I think she's one of the best pilots in the game still. Having repeatable 1 damage you can do to bozos is great and really fun. Plus she's adorable, which is always a plus. I was playing red-blue. I think we've kind of evolved beyond what that deck is capable of at this point, unfortunately. As fun as it is to deploy the Anksha and ping guys, the pool of cards you have available to us now give us a little bit more of a synergistic deck building experience. I still think the game is very matchup dependent, and even then, like die roll dependent, I guess. You either win or you lose the deck building screen depending on which deck you run into. You either built a deck that can draw you a sequence of cards that wins, or you don't. I don't think any of the cards they've printed necessarily change that being the case for the game, which gives me still a continuing unfortunate outlook on the future of it. But for the time being, I like to talk about the cards, and I like looking at them, and the game is fun to gamble. Speaking of gambling, let's get into the cardboard itself. We're playing 4 Marida, of course. We're playing 4 of the Kshatriya. Still one of the best units in the game, I think, especially for its cost and level and its stats. The one paired isn't ideal, but we now have more pilots that we can pair with it, and not just Link. We're playing 4 of the new Marida, level 5 Haman. Same idea, she has a 1 paired to deal damage. It's not like Marida's, it's a little worse, but the stats are better, I think. Same stats, actually. And then Haman's Link unit, we're playing 2 of the Quebeley. An incredible unit whose damage is on the attack for this one. Basically, it's the Kshatriya 2.0. It has suppression, a new keyword, a new toy for red to play with, which is really cool. Really excited to be suppressing on that base. And our last boss, we were playing the Shamblo, just 1. The trick with this is, I think, not to necessarily attack with it. It's just swing with 2 guys first and threaten to attack with it, because it becomes a must answer at that point, because it is 7 plus damage is more than enough to basically kill anything in the game at this point, outside of extreme gimmicks. And it also does 3 extra damage to whatever is on the field. So you can attack into a unit and deal 3 damage to it on attack trigger before its damage go through, so you can pseudo first strike it. Or you can swing 7 into base. We were playing only cards, or only pilots that link with it. So in a pinch, you can link with Lalah, which is really funny. Her text gives other units, or your other link units, breach, which lets you assign more damage to more things. Especially if you can get this on the Kshatriya, is really funny because it lets you assign damage to the base even if you swing out at a unit. So it basically is synergistic with what the Kshatriya already wants to be doing, and is one of the reasons we have pivoted to green, so we get access to another keyword. We're also playing 3 of the other reason to play green, Turning Point of History, one of the, I think, strongest cards they've printed to date in any of the starter decks even. Fatal Strike is great, just outright killing units that are level 3 or lower. But I think looking at the top 3 cards and filtering for whatever you want on turn 1 is awesome. This is the direction I would like to see the game going, and one of my favorite cards I've printed so far as a result of it. I really like to see this in every color. Maybe not necessarily the Excavate style or the Scry style, but top decking, and then later in the game being able to draw the card you top deck, just to add some consistency. Like if we could look at the top 5 or top 10 even and just top deck a single card out of it, would be awesome. Speaking of top decking, or scrying, we're playing only 2 of the top. Like I said, it's hard to get a hold of all the copies of cards you need. Only playing 2. I would like to play more. In lieu of that, we're only playing 2 because I only have 2. I'll probably come with my friends later for more copies of it. In lieu of that, we're playing 3 Zaku 1 Snipers. This is a card where if you reveal another Zaku 1 Sniper, you kind of broke even, because it is another body. You can get support 1, I guess. I mentioned in my previous profile that it's basically the same as giving its 1 damage that it would have had to someone else. It's okay. Honestly, this is one of the cards to cut for sure. But we are playing it because it does draw us into our red units, which we have synergy with the Guadin, one of the new bases we're playing. If it's your turn and you deploy this, you can discard a red card to draw 1. Very powerful if your hand is full of reds or spells that you can't really cast or don't want to cast. And the other base we're playing is just 3 of Palau because it's the best base in the game. At the 6 HP breakpoint. The text unnecessary on bases. The Argama sure has text on it, and some of the other bases do for sure, but I could really care less about that because I can't play them in red-green. Let's get into the spells. We're treating the Gaza Sea as a damage spell. The rate is basically, in this game, is you're paying 1 cost to deal 1 damage, and most units reflect that. The Gaza Sea is no different. It can deal 1 damage to any units level 5 or lower, so it basically trades. Instead of having to attack with it directly, you just rest it, and it trades with other 1/1s. We're playing 3 Remnant Forces. Same idea as the Gaza Sea. You pay 1 to deal 1 damage to any unit. And continuing on that theme, we were playing 2 of Close Combat. You don't really need more than this, or maybe you do, because it does have Burst to deal 2 damage to a unit for the cost of 2. We're also playing 3 Battle of Aces, are really one of the only 2 cards in this deck. You can see the next one is it also. That is undercosted for how much damage it does. 2 cost to deal 3 damage with the restriction or the caveat that it must damage a unit that already has taken damage. So it does combo with all of our other damage spells that don't have a restriction. You hit them with those first, and you follow up with this as a finishing blow to death strike them. We're playing 3 all-range attack, same idea as the Quebeley and Battle of Aces. It deals damage with some conditions. It is undercosted, 2 cost for level 4, and it deals 1 damage to all units other than Lynx. Potentially a lot of damage into a board full of unpiloted mooks. There's a lot of units like the Greys and the Ryusei that aren't really worth piloting, that are worth damaging just to get rid of them so that they don't swing on you on the opponent's turn. As for the last 5 cards, we are playing a bunch of cards that aren't really worth putting on the field. The Gelgoog GQ, and then 1 Zaku 2 that I would replace with the other Zaku that has text on it from the starter deck that I never picked up because I didn't like the cards in it, which I'm now sorely regretting because of the product shortages. Really am playing this because it is a red unit and it is a 1 cost 2/2, so its stats are marginally better than anything else other than the draw C even, despite the level 2. So basically you're going to want to go second as frequently as possible, so that if you do need to run out a unit on turn 1, you can drop this instead of the Zaku 1 Sniper for 2. Or you can drop any of your 1 cost crap like Xeon Remnant Forces into an opponent's 1/1. Which I think you'll have mostly moved off of at this point, just because there's better cards, theoretically. Not that I've really bothered to read all of the cards in the set that are at 1 cost. I did just think that the GQ is one of the ones worth playing because it's Xeon and it's in red, so it fits the theme of the deck. So the cards we're not playing, and why I'm not playing them, we're not playing Kranskaza C. It does have a link trait, just like a lot of the other really specific level 3 2 costs, like the gun cannon, or Sayla's gun cannon, or the gun cannon light type or whatever. For blue, same idea. It only has one instance of damage when you pair it, and it's only to level 3 or lower, so it's no better than just like swinging out with it, and it basically wastes the Hamon link. If there ever is anything that gives this a crazy banner effect, like Hymo or Breach, it might be worth considering in a Hamon-centric deck, but as is, we were trying to focus on the new type synergy with the Quebeley and the Kshatriya, or mostly the Kshatriya and the Shamblo. So this one kind of is falling by the wayside. If we ever do get more synergies with it, it'd be great to look at again and maybe reconsider. The card we're not playing, despite how overstated it looks, is the Zaku 3 Sleeves. This card is crazy. Level 3, 2 cost, so it's already efficient. It has 4 damage, potentially, and only 1 HP. It has the Neo Zeon trait, so it does technically link with all of our pilots except for Lalah. But that being said, it is still a waste of a link. I would rather just pair with the pilot, the MSs that is intended to be paired with, rather than them. And the other pilot is the Xeon new type. Xavier theoretically is useful, but Lalah being the other pilot in green kind of has a little more synergy with our units by giving them a keyword, a breach. The text on her is better, and she's only 1 level higher. So really, I think it isn't really worth playing Xavier, even though he does have a cool command. But we're also really not playing tokens, so his effect to fade damage on tokens is not really relevant for our purposes. There are some other red cards, the other Xeon cards that we're not really playing, just because we want to focus on, like I said, the Kshatriyas and the Quebeleys. As to the strategy of this deck is basically just dropping as many commands as possible, all of your fireballs, your ping spells, and then following up with the Kshatriya and the Quebeley to wipe the enemy's board and hopefully make them fold under the weight of your new type pressure. In the end, I think I may drop some of the green cards, because as powerful as the cards like the Dop and Lalah and Turning Point are, I'm worried that they aren't, maybe as fun or really as strong as they look on the text. And I'll just go back to playing red-blue, because I do like the effect on the Banshee Destroy mode. I think the synergy is still potential there if we were playing red-blue to draw a bunch of cards and then dump all of our commands into the grave and use those as fodder to shuffle back with the Banshee Destroy mode for its second attack. But for the time being, I think I'd like to try out red-green for a little bit and see if I can't be swayed to the side of pro-green. Decide that maybe I don't hate all of those cards for as rich as they keep getting and as poor as they make every other color look. If you have any questions or comments or thoughts or feedback, please let me know. And if you have Dops or extra Quebeleys, definitely let me know.